Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Jean-Luc, for this kind introduction. So my name is Mehdi. I'm in fact from Plastic Omnium, which is a tier 1 supplier, a French company founded 70 years ago. I work in that company, but I'm also a delegate member of the French automotive cluster that Jean-Luc mentioned. And it's in the framework of the French engineering automotive society that we discussed this opportunity to talk today here in Toulouse. Toulouse for me is a very nice region, very friendly to the environment, very friendly also to the automotive industry. So it's interesting to see how we can have this strong energy with smart and interested people in this field of electrification. I'm also happy to speak after Roland Berger and the nice talk from Olivier about electrification and China, because we consider at the French automotive platform that France is not dead and that we have a lot to do, particularly when it comes to innovation. It will be my speech this afternoon. So let me start with a quick introduction of what the French automotive section is. Maybe we can go to the next slide. So we are a group of 6 founding members, 2 car makers that are quite famous, 4 tier 1 suppliers, large corporations. We have seen this morning Valeo and Faurecia, but also Michelin from Clermont-Ferrand, and also Plastic Omnium headquarters in Levallois-Perret. We are also in this French automotive platform working with a lot of society, SIA, FIEV, and a lot of cluster of different sectors like plasturgy, metallurgy, mechanical engineering, and so on. And last but not least, the pole de competitivity, French cluster of competitiveness, which are also a strong supporter of the roadmap for research and development in the automotive sector. This being said, French automotive platform has signed last year with Minister of Economy, with Minister of Environment, a master contract, which is called Contrat Stratégique de Filière, which is here in order to give the priority at large of the French automotive sector. For instance, to be an actor, an active player of the energy transition, of the ecology transition. Second, to create a positive framework to develop new technology in the field of connectivity and autonomous driving. We have seen a couple of examples this morning. Last but not least, to anticipate the transitions, because when it comes to innovation and to new technology, we have to consider what will be the competencies needs in the future and what will be the shift of jobs toward new jobs that we don't know today. And last but not least, to keep competitive. The automotive sector in France has been competitive for centuries. And we believe it's going to be possible to maintain this competitiveness in the future, particularly through innovation. So we organized ourselves a couple of years ago with a research council that each member of the platform is going to lead for a given period of time. This time is my turn. For the next 2 years, I will be in charge with a couple of CTO, Research and Development Director of the other members of the association. In this council, we have a couple of missions to identify the technology and market trends, in order to have a prospective and strategic forecast of the future. We have also the mission to involve several research and technology players in France. We have a complex organization, a complex territory with different clusters, different university and research groups. So it's very important that we share at large what are the priorities of the automotive sector. We also do operational works with a lot of groups, technical groups, in fact, led by different technical experts from the different members of the PFA, in order to unlock some of the challenges and roadblocks that we have identified. I will name later a few about those roadblocks in the field of electrification. We have also to contribute to communication. It's my job today. And last but not least, to propose some processes, innovation in processes in order to support the automobile production process. Now, if we look at one interesting topic, which is electrification, as I was very happy when we discussed with Jean-Luc to see that here in Toulouse, and today we don't oppose several technology, but we rather see the opportunities and the complementarities. What we do in the Research Council is we do a yearly study, and we base our works and our prospective strategic analysis on a model that we have built with a consulting company. It's really something analytical with a lot of data. data from the ecosystem, data from the regulation, from micro and macroeconomics perspective. It took time, it took years to build this model, and we took the time also to prove the relevance of the model, confirmed by history of the figures, confirmed by real market share. And what we have here is the last shots that we did last week about what will be the forecast for the mix of energy in the future. We do that in the world, and I present today the figure for Europe. And it's interesting to see that with the time horizon of 2035, we'll see a greater diversification in the energy sources for the vehicles, for the passenger vehicles, greater than what we have ever seen before. We were living in a world with two choices. Do you want a gasoline or a diesel car? And we see that in the future there will be a lot of different choices, and we will need to be educated to make those choices. Interesting figure is that more than 90% of the vehicles that will be sold in 2030 will be equipped with a battery for propulsion or a battery for energy recovery. And we see also that in the complete portfolio of solutions, most of the product on the market at this time, 2035, will be electrified powertrains, not meaning pure electric vehicles, but at least powertrains equipped with some kind of electrification system. We see also that almost 1/4 of the vehicles that will be sold in Europe in that time will probably be full battery electric vehicles. So it's a big change in the ecosystem, and this is driving a couple of leverage for innovation. What we do also in the Research Council for prospective purpose is we build and we refresh every year what are the strategic needs for innovation of the French automotive industry. Of course, we do that on a pre-competitive basis. We don't look at what each company should do. We look at what are the needs for the complete industry sector, for the complete country in the field of automobile in order to conserve the competitiveness, in order to look forward and anticipate the technology trends. And what I'm zooming here is a couple of technology bricks that we have identified as key to the future success of the automotive industry, focusing on electrification. So we see that hybridization technologies will be key, batteries, hydrogen storage, charging infrastructure, refueling infrastructure, and last but not least, hybrid powertrains. Now, if we look at what are the main innovation challenges for the battery electrification, first of all, we can see that the battery today for an electric car doesn't look anymore as what we used to know with lead-acid 12-volt technologies. The batteries are very complex electrochemistry devices. Low voltage, this morning we heard Valeo talking about 48 volts. This is the minimum basis for the future, but also very high voltage. In Frankfurt Auto Show this year, we saw some systems with more than 800 volts of power on board of the car. We have also some interesting trends in terms of innovation in the field of durability of the battery. We know that since 2 decades now with our smartphone, with our cell phones, the battery don't support thermal changes. They don't support very much the cold nor the hot temperatures. And what we can anticipate is that cars are going to see extremely hot and cold conditions, and this will dramatically affect the durability of the systems. So being capable of anticipating and monitoring the health and the ambient condition at which the battery is living is very strategic for the future. Last but not least, optimize the vehicle integration. We see that the battery we are talking about for a premium car, say for a sports car today, is a huge battery of more than 600 kilograms with a huge impact on the chassis structure of the car. So being capable to optimize the overall architecture will give a tremendous advantage to the car maker and to the suppliers that will supply those systems. And last but not least, it was, I think, in the question to Roland Berger's speaker earlier, the complete life cycle, particularly for European countries. We are very much focusing now on what is the carbon footprint, what is the overall impact of those products we put on the market, what will happen after 10 years when we will have to recycle. And there could be some competitive advantage in the field of innovation on how to recycle and how to give a second life to the batteries that will be equipped in cars. If we put in perspective the hydrogen sector, hydrogen is a completely different story. Hydrogen is a gas. Today, the fuel cell electric vehicle is very expensive. Not for everyone. a lot of components and systems that are used are not yet in mass production. So the processes attached to the product are not yet at a large scale. There is also a need to optimize the architecture, as we can see from the figure. The way we store a gas, particularly at 700 bar, is not very efficient compared to what we can do with a battery. So we need to find ways to optimize the integration in order not to jeopardize the complete architecture of the car. Now, optimizing the usage is also very important. In the French automotive platform, we have seen from our internal studies that an hydrogen car is not for the same purpose as an all battery electric car. So it's very important to understand in what ecosystem, on which road, and for what type of usage we will put on the road hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles. And same for the battery, the LCA, the life cycle assessment, is also very interesting. Even though we don't find lithium, cobalt, or nickel, or other rare earths in a fuel cell or in a hydrogen vessels, it's also important to understand what will happen and how will we recycle those products, and overall, what is the overall impact in terms of carbon and energy consumption to manufacture those products. Now, to keep the innovation at the forefront in France, we have to understand that those two technologies, battery on one side and hydrogen and fuel cell on the other side, not like the other techno bricks that we had in the past, are put in complex markets and they are put in ecosystem. So if we want to find breakthrough and to keep differentiating our products, we need to integrate the full value chain and to understand what is happening from design, how can we innovate in the design phase, how can we improve the manufacturing process, for instance, to assemble battery cells that are coming from Asia in European processes, in European plants. And last but not least, what will be the usage of those products, either battery or hydrogen storages and fuel cells, and what would be the duration and the recycling process for those products. Now, a quick summary on the battery sector for electrification. We see it's a very competitive context. Overall, the regulation and the society is really pushing now to have an electric market for the vehicles, for passenger car. It was said before that there are some geostrategic challenges, and we believe in the French automotive platform that we can preserve the competitiveness of our sector, but we have to fight and to find smart solutions and innovative solutions. We have a roadmap of new technologies for the field of battery pack, and electrification of the vehicles. We see that the production footprint is not installed yet, particularly in mature markets like Europe or USA. There is a lot to do in terms of manufacturing the plants that will produce the battery pack for the future. We estimated, for instance, that we will need at least 7 gigafactories by 2030 in order to supply the market of electric battery vehicles. And last but not least, we have some specific conditions in Europe. Care about the environment, care about the overall life cycle assessment, and we need to secure the material supplies and also to find the right level of investment to develop those new technologies. Now I will quickly put in perspective the same value chain for hydrogen. It's interesting to see that hydrogen, even though it's a less mature technology, even though the market is not yet there, has a big challenge, and it will be discussed, I think, during the roundtable. The red value chain corresponds to how we produce the fuel, hydrogen, that will be consumed in the car. And it's very important in the complete life cycle assessment to integrate the fact that we want to decarbonize not only the vehicle, not only the manufacturing process of the product, but also the fuel that is consumed daily on the vehicle in order to make sure the complete chain, the complete value chain, has less carbon impact on the environment. Summary of the main roadblock. For those who are interested in hydrogen, I'm ready to talk later at the break. Production and distribution, we will discuss that. It's a tremendous challenge for the future. Life cycle assessment. We have a lot of figures and data analytics in the French automotive platform to say that take care of where the electrons come from. Is it from fossil fuel? Is it from nuclear power plants? Or is it from renewable energy? This will dramatically affect the overall performance of your vehicle in terms of CO2 per kilometer. Cost of ownership. We do also a lot of sensitivity studies in order to understand what will be the impact on the market for consumer to purchase an hydrogen vehicle depending on the price of hydrogen at the refueling station. And we see that the cheaper, of course, the fuel, the more vehicles we will sell, but overall, the more competitive the FCEV will be if we consider the total cost of ownership. And last but not least, platform electrification. We have seen that an electric battery vehicle is very complex. With hydrogen, it's even more complex. There is room for improvement, and we are working hard in terms of the R&D of the French automotive sector to improve those vehicle architectures. As a conclusion, for the hydrogen sector for passenger car, it's still a research and development technology and market. There is a lot of challenges from the greenhouse and environmental impacts. Regulation, authorities, car makers, tier one suppliers, we are all preparing a number of initiatives, including here in Toulouse, here in Occitanie, in order to bring the condition of success of this new technology. And last but not least, massive investments are expected in order to convert those technologies into a real market. Thank you for your attention.